One Punch Man, Season 2, Episode 3. Wow, this was like such a great episode. I had so much fun with this one. Yeah, it was fast-paced, but we have to remember that they're cramming about 46 chapters into 12 episodes here, so all of them, I suppose, are going to be fairly quickly paced, but I don't think it suffered too much from that. I really liked it. I'm sure some of you guys have like gripes with the animation still, but I don't know, we're going to have to just take what we get here. I don't think it was too bad, and it wasn't egregious or anything like that, so I hope you enjoyed this episode too. But before we get into the review, I have 3 Crunchyroll guest passes for you guys. So of course it's first come, first serve, but this is a good chance for you guys to be able to watch One Punch Man Season 2 in high quality and not on some, sketchy site. So, yeah, have fun, guys. So this episode opens up with Bang just, like, destroying Shiranko, and it's revealed later that he's doing this in order to protect Shiranko. I mean, kind of counterintuitive, but Bang is a martial arts master who has lived for over 80 years, so, he's going to do things the way that he does. I guess it's tough love in a way, although he is very frustrated about the circumstances surrounding Garou, because Garou is also Bang's former disciple. So he feels somewhat responsible in a way for what Garou is doing, like this rampage that he's going on. So him beating down Shiranko is his way of removing him from this equation so that Garou doesn't come after him. But as we found out in this episode, it was all for naught. But also another character is introduced by the name of Bomb, and this is Bang's brother. So yes, he is just as strong as Bang, or at least this is what is said by the illustrator of the manga, Murata. But also, Bomb is just a really great character, a lot of fun. Very similar to Bang, of course, because they are, martial art masters, brothers. But the difference between these two is their fighting styles. So they don't have the exact same. They both invented their own respective styles. So we know that Bang has the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, which is super on display in this episode, and we'll get into that. But we know that that's like more of like a defensive, laid-back, counter-striking style. However, Bomb has the Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist, which is pretty much like the opposite. It's like full offense, power, like one shot, one kill, stuff like that. So we've got like two sides of the martial arts coin with these like legendary brothers here. The episode doesn't really go too much into them, but we will see more of them as this season goes on. So the first fight of many in this episode is Garou taking on Tank Top Master, and I love this fight so much. It was really fun in the manga, and I think they did it justice in the anime as well. So of course, Tank Top Master is an S-class hero. This is by far the strongest opponent that Garou has taken on so far in this season. Going way up from the A-class guys he was taking on, all the way to like an S-class hero. Yeah, Tank Top Master is at the lower end of the S-class spectrum, but he's by far no chump. You see when he just punches the ground, it like destroys the entire vicinity, and it just stifled Garou completely, and just gets hit with Tank Top Master's trademark move, the Tank Top Tackle. I think this is the first time we're seeing this in the anime, at least. Pretty sweet how they played it out and whatnot, but the success that Tank Top Master has against Garou is very short-lived, because once Garou begins to use the Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, he just completely annihilates him. And this is further showing that he is pretty much a master of this as well, similar to how Bang is, but of course not quite on that level. So for for a long time now, we've been seeing Garou use this in the manga, and it's never really too clear exactly what he's doing. Of course, it's implied that the motions and the counter-striking and the fluidity of his motion, we know what he is doing from the illustrations, but now we're fully seeing it like animated, and man, they did it such good justice in my opinion. I really like the way that it looks. They even have like the flowing water coming off of his fist, which is also in the illustrations of the manga, but it just looks so awesome in the anime. And yeah, like Tank Top Master just completely wrecked by this technique. I just had so much fun with this sequence. But this is also scaling Garou to S-class level for sure. Yeah, he didn't completely wreck him, but he took his best shots and just wrecked him afterwards. And yeah, so Garou is for sure on the S-class level at this point. How far into the S-class? Well, that remains to be seen, but he is definitely certified in that category at this point. So Moomin Rider also shows up in this episode, and you know, it's typical Moomin Rider stuff. We all love him, but man, did he take a savage beating in this episode. I mean, it was brutal. Like, we knew it was going to happen if you have read the manga, but this episode really showed like how brutal the beating that Garou put on Moomin Rider was. Like, when he smashes his head into the pavement and there's like the pool of blood around his head, like, damn. I mean, of course, like, Deep Sea King did a number on him, but wow, Garou really is taking the cake here. I mean, if like you didn't know what was going to happen, it's like almost kind of implied Moomin Rider's dead, but you know, we find out fortunately he is not dead. But then after that, Garou like immediately counters Tank Top Master, and this is revealing that Garou learns mid-fight, and he's able to adapt to you on the fly. So once he's figured out your moves, which happens very quickly, you're pretty much screwed, because after that he's just going to keep countering you and just destroying you, especially if you don't have martial arts on the level that he does. And that's further talked about in this episode, like when Saitama visits Moomin Rider in the hospital, which is like a nice little moment. It's showing that they are true friends, because we have to remember that, you know, the whole interaction that they had in season 1, and afterwards, after Saitama saved Moomin Rider from Deep Sea King, he sent him that letter, how he was like, thank you, and then they had that nice little moment in the ramen shop. So that's why Saitama is checking on Moomin Rider. They are friends. But Moomin Rider, you know, further says that, like, yeah, Deep Sea King was crazy powerful, and he was a monster and whatnot, but Garou is different. He is super powerful, pretty much on the level of Deep Sea King, at least that's what is implied here, but he has an insane level of martial arts. And then Tank Top Master himself further goes into that, where it's like to the point of he's just so damn powerful because it's crazy power, but with skill, and that's a deadly combination for pretty much any character. So after that, we're getting the introduction of Tario, and Tario is more or less the element of this story to show us that Garou isn't all bad. Like, yes, he was very despicable in this episode, and he did tons of egregious stuff, but he is not that bad in a way, because he's like has a big brother relationship with this character. I mean, so far, I mean, it remains to be seen what is going to happen with this relationship, but so far it's showing that Garou's just not like a complete piece of crap, you know? He does have some redeeming qualities, and I just really hope that that hit home with you guys, because it just makes Garou all the more likable, in my opinion, like his whole dynamic with Tario. But it also further shows more into the psyche of Garou, because he's like, oh, cool, you got the hero almanac, you know, heroes are cool. Well, he doesn't say that, but he goes on to say that the monsters are way cooler than the heroes. So this is beginning to show us what Garou is all about, because he's kind of conflicted, because he has all of this overwhelming power, and he could use it for good, but he doesn't want to, because he thinks being good is lame. He doesn't like the heroes. He doesn't like what they do. He thinks it's so much more fun to be a monster. So also while Saitama was in the hospital, you know, visiting Moomin Rider, talking to Tank Top Master, he's also talking to Shiranko there, because Shiranko got whooped by Garou, like we saw, and Shiranko gives Saitama a ticket to the martial arts tournament. So this is showing us what Saitama is going to be doing in the next couple episodes. He is for sure going to enter this tournament, because we saw that he was enticed by the 3 million yen prize, because we know Saitama likes money, because it could buy him more food and groceries and stuff. I mean, he's very minimalistic in his lifestyle, but he really enjoys having good food to eat, essentially. So Saitama will be joining this tournament, and it's further proven when he buys that wig at the end of the episode, and we'll get into that. But he's wearing the wig because he wants to impersonate Shiranko, since Shiranko can't participate in the tournament due to his savage whooping that he took. So after that, Garou runs into Golden Ball. Like, Garou is just running the gauntlet in this episode. He is just taking down so many heroes, like on a rampage. It's so awesome. And yes, it was quick, but I hope it was just not too quick enough for you guys to keep up with what was going on. So yeah, Garou runs into Golden Ball, one of the more formidable A-class heroes. And he essentially has like a machine gun with that damn slingshot. Like, so cool how they did it. I mean, it looked great in the manga, but I think they did this sequence justice too in the anime. But other than Golden Ball being impressive, I mean, it's just further showing how crazy powerful Garou is, because of course he has the skill, he has the power, but now we're seeing he has the reflexes and the speed. not only is he dipping and dodging machine gun fire, essentially because that's what it looked like, but stationary. He was just stationary, moving around those golden balls, no problem. And then he even just one-ups it and deflects them with his fists or his hands. Like, really crazy display of power and skill from Garou here. So he has like all three pieces of the puzzle here. He's super fast, super powerful, and super skilled. So Garou is for sure super formidable in this series. But on top of that, he's also taking on Spring Mustachio. With Golden Ball, he's coming back from Season 1. We saw him around the beginning of the Sea Folk arc, like when Deep Sea King is introduced into the story. But of course, Spring Mustachio taking another L here. But he did put up a good fight, and we see that he is formidable in his own way, too. I mean, these A-class heroes, like I said in my previous review, they are not chumps, they're not fodder. They're just, you know, not superheroes the way that the S-class is. But this is also showing us how savage Garou is, because he straight up pierces his hand through the rapier that Spring Mustachio has, just in order to grab it. Like, he doesn't care about injuring his hand. So savage here, such a great sequence. I mean, if you're not like a Garou stan or on the verge of it at this point, I don't know what to tell you, man. This episode certainly did it for... I mean, I was already a Garou stan, but I certainly hope it did it for the most of this fan base, because, like I said also in my previous review, Garou is probably the best character in this series. One of the greatest anime battle manga characters ever. So then the episode ends with an epic encounter, which I don't think anybody who didn't read the manga was expecting this to happen so soon. Of course, Garou encountering Saitama, and yes, this is just perfect one writing here, one the creator of One Punch Man, because we see them like finally encountering, but it's like no big deal, because you guys expect like, oh, we have like the big villain or the antagonist of the season in Garou, so it's likely going to be a very long time before he meets the main character Saitama. But nope, he meets him, and we're seeing like, yeah, of course, he is no match for Saitama, and this is more or less showing us that, because Garou is riding high in this episode. Like, we're seeing like, wow, he's crazy powerful. But, what would it be like if he went against Saitama? Well, now we know, of course, nothing. He just gets absolutely wrecked. Just one chop, done. Just great, awesome, and hilarious sequence at the same time. But after that, we see Saitama buying that wig I was talking about. So he's going to be using this wig to pretty much impersonate Shiranko in this tournament. And then this is expanded upon in the post-credit sequence that we saw, where like Saitama is trying on the wig in the mirror, but then Geno sees him and he's thinking that like Saitama has become like so insecure about his baldness that he's just going to begin to wear a wig. So then he immediately calls up Dr. Kuseto and he's like, can you get some hair transplants for Saitama, please? And Saitama's like, no, I don't want hair transplants. I'm just wearing the wig to impersonate Shiranko to go into the tournament. Hilarious sequence. I had like audible laughs to this. I loved it so much. But after that, it gives us a little hint as to what possibly the next episode could be. And it looks like we might be getting into Metal Bat here. Can't go too much into that, but wow, if it is Metal Bat's episode, this is going to be incredible, like even better than this episode, so look out for that. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. So let me know what you think about Garou. Let me know what you think about this episode. Did you like it? Are you still not on board with Season 2? If not, I understand, but let me know. If you liked the video, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon, gives you access to a Discord. We do some hangouts on there. I've got a Q&A video that I do every week. It gives you access to that. So check that out, please. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.